Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, Tez here, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, I recently quit my job without a plan, and in today's video I'm just going to be sharing some of the reasons why I came to that decision. So before we get started, don't forget to grab your cup of tea to have with Tez, and let's jump right in. So when I started this job, I was promised a few things that on the first day were not met, and some of these included pay and my prescribing course, and I was told a few different things that meant that I had to delay those things, and those requests were never met, and it just felt very cheeky of them to promise me things to get me to accept the job and leave my old one and then not deliver on those promises. So I'm not saying that my pay was bad at all, but I was promised a certain figure and I would have liked to receive that figure. I mean, if you're promised something by a company, then you do sort of expect them to deliver, especially if that's one of the main reasons why you choose that form of employment opposed to another. The PCN went through a lot of changes, and these were managerial and structural. We had a major issue with staffing, so whilst we were going through the managerial changes and the structural changes, we were also going through some staff changes, and at one point I felt like I was the only pharmacist responsible for a newly acquired pharmacist and 2 pre-reg pharmacists, bearing in mind that I was, besides the new pharmacist, I was the one getting paid the least, but it felt like I was doing the most work, and that felt very unfair. And we weren't given time to do our PCN targets because the practice work was lagging behind, and then it converted where we could only do PCN work, otherwise we wouldn't have met any of the targets, which meant we wouldn't have been able to get any reimbursements from the CCGs. So it went from A to Z very quickly, and that also added a lot of stress and pressure to the workload. We also got some agency staff to help, but there was only so much they could do, and the work was just never ending. You would log on somewhere and there would be over 200 tasks. You'd spend the whole morning, do maybe 60, and then 80 more would be added. It was always a losing battle, and honestly, I think I was at my wit's end with the tasks. So when it comes to surgeries, I had my base surgery, which was 8 minutes away, but I was required to cover the other surgeries either as part of my routine work or to cover annual leave, and that meant that I did have to encounter some surgeries which weren't as nice as others, and some of the surgeries were quite toxic in terms of their staff and how they treated pharmacists and their workload expectation, and all of that toxic environment and not being treated fairly, not being respected or appreciated for your work can make you feel like you don't want to go to work at all, which is not good for your mental health at all. All of these things I think contributed to me feeling burnt out. I feel that I was expected to work just as much, if not more, because we were less staffed. I was having managerial responsibilities by sorting out the new pharmacist's rota and what she would do, training her, training the pre-regs, not being paid extra, workload increased. I was still doing my CPP course, which, because I was towards the end, there were actually quite a lot of assignments and assessments that I needed to complete, and I just felt like I was at my wit's end and I didn't know what to do. It felt very overwhelming and I didn't feel very supported, and I did previously inquire about getting support from the PCN, and I didn't really get anywhere with it, and I guess I just had to seek personal therapy myself, which I shouldn't have had to do by something that was caused by work. There were also some other things that happened that I don't really want to delve in because I don't want to burn that bridge in case they changed their ways and I decide to go back. But those were the main things that made me want to leave, that I feel comfortable talking about on camera. Just another thing as well was that there was a lot of staff turnover, not just within the pharmacy team, but within the reception team, managerial team, the other healthcare professionals such as the nurses, the GPs. And I feel like when you're in that environment, when people are constantly leaving, it makes you feel like you're on a sinking ship and that you should run before you end up sinking yourself. So because there wasn't that security or safety, I think all of that just contributed to me thinking, why am I here and what could I be doing instead that's better for me and my mental health. So at the moment I don't have a job lined up. I am jobless. I think today is actually my first official, like, because I've worked my notice now and that's all done. My notice was 3 months, so I just worked that off now and finished, so I'm jobless. I don't really want to work in community full time like locuming, so I won't be doing that. I don't really want to work for another PCN because I'll probably have to commute, and I feel like a lot of PCNs are quite similar in terms of it starts off good and then it ends up not being better than the previous one. I don't really want to go back to hospital because I don't want to do weekends and on calls and late nights unless I choose to. I do also want to say that even though I've quit my job, I'm not quitting the profession, so I do still have the option to work in pharmacy if I really need to. So I feel like even though I've quit, it's not the worst case scenario because I can always work if I really have to. I just don't want to. Yeah. I feel like I'm filled with things that I don't want to do. Like, I don't want to work here, I don't want to do that, don't want to do this. But then I keep asking myself, what do you want? And I'm like, it's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
So I'm gonna take some time, think about what I want to do next, figure out my life, and hopefully not be a bum for too much longer because, you know, I've got responsibilities that I need to cater to. But yeah, this is where I am at the moment. I do feel so much better that I don't have that burden lingering over me, and it's such a relief to just be able to, like, just wake up and chill. I feel like I could get used to not working, which is dangerous because obviously you can't just not work for the rest of your life. Once I decide on a plan, hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys and you can come along on the journey of reinventing myself. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or video suggestions. Don't forget to tap the like button so the video reaches more people. Subscribe if you haven't already because it really helps me out, and until next time, bye for now.